Episode 4, we open up on Geraldine seeming to be reforming out of dust while waiting by a hospital bed. And the scene is absolute chaos. The hospital staff doesn't know what the hell is going on, and it seems that no one else does either. And people are just randomly forming out of dust. We don't have any idea what's going on. We might be able to infer some things right away,
Yes, we
but
do.
yeah,
we infer a lot of things right away, Brandon. Like, oh my
okay,
god, this scene, like everything that's happening, everything that's about to happen. I'm already just like, oh my god, yes. Like, this is what we wanted to see. This is I mean, we're getting to see like what actually happened after
right,
the blip got reversed, right? Like,
exactly,
you don't need to like. This isn't spoilers. You don't need an explanation. It's
right.
obvious what's happening here. Like,
Yeah, if you're watching WandaVision and haven't seen Avengers Endgame, that's on you.
that is on you. It's like, no, you shouldn't be watching this right now. Yes, this is post blip chaos that we're seeing right now, and I am living for it because it's not. You didn't get to see like any of
Yeah,
this during the
right. It's
movie.
a completely new perspective.
Exactly, and I love that they're going into this like
No,
they're
I feel
showing.
the same exact way.
Yeah, they're
It's
showing what the shit happened, like, because I
and
mean,
it would be like this. It would be absolute chaos. Just
no,
like random people just basically respawning all around you.
exactly. Like, you didn't get any of that in the Avengers movie, like, about like how it affected the world. But obviously, like, this thing had to affect the world, and I love that they're taking this like opportunity to show us like, yes it did, and here's kind of what it looks like.
I feel the same exact way, and I think it's a really smart way to do it,
Mm,
where it's not necessarily in the movies; it's on a TV show
exactly,
where
and
where it gets that time to breathe, and we see like the dramatic effects not only in this show but kind of spoilers, they also deal with it in Captain the Winter Soldier or Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
yeah, no, definitely. It's like you said. I like that they're giving it breathing room. Like, there's only so much that you can put in a movie, because like in a
Right,
movie, your goal, you kind of have to keep the storyline going. You can't really like touch on like these kind of like things, but they're using it not only to develop these like side characters, but also give you insight to like these things that happened in the movie that were kind of like an afterthought that you didn't really get to see into, but they're
right.
showing it all. Yeah.
We are assuming it's right after the Avengers undid the blip, and like I said, or like we both said, it's absolute chaos. It's awesome that they're showing this. Uh, Geraldine accidentally runs into a guy, and she just levels him. So, like, does she already have powers? Maybe.
No, she was just a quarterback in high school, man. She's just that was her thing.
So she goes up to the nurses' station and asks about a patient in room 104, but the nurses are in shambles trying to control what's going on, and they say, "I don't know what to tell you. Look, you got to figure this out on your own."
Right, yeah. She keep in mind she doesn't have any idea that she just came back like
Right?
after she doesn't know
She
anything
still
about
thinks it's just like she fell asleep for like an hour or so.
exactly. Right. Yeah. She's like, this is what the hospital looks like normally. It's all chaos.
Right.
It's fine. No, like,
So a doctor walks up to Geraldine, and we learn that Geraldine is not her real name, but it's Monica, and she doesn't remember being dusted for 5 years. Her mom, who was Maria Rambeau, Captain Marvel's best friend in the movie Captain Marvel,
she's from
that
Captain
was her
Marvel.
mother. Yep.
I
So that was her mother, and we found out that she didn't get dusted, but she died 2 years after the original dusting, and she died of cancer, unfortunately.
All right. Yeah, I got some things about this too. Now, first of
Okay.
all, Geraldine, like that whole thing. When I saw this, when I saw the first two episodes or the episodes that she was in, I had no idea who she was. I didn't
Right.
know about the actor being from Captain Marvel. I don't know if she was actually in Captain Marvel. She was still a
So
kid,
yeah,
right?
in the movie she was a child because Captain Marvel was set in the 90s.
Right. So when you saw Geraldine, I guess
It's
you
not
couldn't figure out that it was her.
Yeah, it's not the same actress who played the kid.
The kid, yeah, exactly. So I guess this is the first time where I mean anybody who was actually like super paying attention could be like, that's from Captain Marvel, but that wasn't me.
Right.
So when I saw this, I was like, I don't know, it's just some another character, whatever. That's her real name.
Right.
And then the other thing I wanted to talk about too was just the whole conversation with the doctor and yeah, there was that could have gone way better. Like, just the way that the doctor was like not telling her Like the way that they kind of danced around everything that happened, like she could have just led with the whole like, you've been gone for 5 years, like this is chaos. But there was just like the back and forth was just so silly to me. Like just tell her what happened. Like I don't know.
Well, I don't know. It seems like at least what I took from it is they had sort of developed a friendship because her mother was going through cancer, so they probably did know each other to some extent, and that's sort of like why she was like, sorry.
Yeah, but I just feel like the doctor should have knowing. So I guess what I'm trying to say is the doctor should have knowingly led with the fact that, hey, you've been gone for 5 years, and not dance around like the whole like mom thing for half the conversation before she's like, hey, this is like crazy. What's happening right now? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally didn't have a problem with that.
Okay. Yeah. I was just
right.
looking too much into it. I guess it's like when you're watching a horror movie and you're like, why would you run into that room? Like, why would you split up?
I'm a bitch, so I wouldn't know anything about horror movies.
All right. Good to know. I'll keep that in mind. All right, next up, guys, we're doing the whole entire, like, Freddy versus Jason
No, we're fucking not.
All right.
No, it's because I remember this because it was one of your birthdays that we watched Nightmare on Elm Street, and that shit fucking traumatized me.
I remember that. Oh my god, I was the same. Like I remember because I was like kind of half under the covers watching.
I was hiding behind the damn cooler the entire time.
That was a scary ass movie.
This is entirely your fault.
All right, so just so you guys know, this channel's never gonna do like a scary movie. So if you're into that. Yeah. Like, we could probably do suspense, but like, straight up horror scary, that's probably not going to happen, so you should...
We'll leave Ezra to do that by himself.
Yeah, it'll just be 1/3 of the bearded boys for that one.
After the hospital scene, we cut to Sword headquarters, and Monica is being denied access to the inside of the facility, but conveniently, the acting director, Tyler Hayward, is in the lobby to greet her. They make a joke, and they seem like they're friends.
I don't know. That guy was kind of weird to me first time I seeing him. I was like, I don't know. Yeah, so when I saw this guy, I don't know. I was already getting, I don't know. He gives me vibes. He gives me off weird vibes. Yeah, like this guy makes me uncomfortable for some reason. I don't know. And then as they're like walking through the facility, when they start talking about how like, oh, we're not doing the man missions to blah blah blah, this stuff. We switched to like weapons and AI and like all this like war-y kind of stuff. I was already like, okay, so this is like they got a lot darker over the past 5 years, like as far as what they're doing.
Like Manny said, their space program is basically fucked. He said they lost half their astronauts in the blip, and the other half were too scared to go anywhere.
Yeah, and I guess that makes sense then. Why they would have switched, but I guess they could have found more people. I don't know. It's all just the whole Sword thing's weird to me.
All right, so it turns out Monica's mom, Maria, was the director and built Sword up from the ground up. So she was basically like the Nick Fury of Sword.
I wonder if they knew each other. I wonder if they like had Sunday barbecues
because
together.
Nick Fury was in Captain Marvel.
Oh, he was, right. So they were probably like pretty good friends and stuff.
Yeah.
I think we talked about this, but is S.H.I.E.L.D. still around at this time? It's other than in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I guess. I don't know if they really reformed at this time.
I know in the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., S.H.I.E.L.D. reformed, but that's one of those TV shows where it's
You're not sure if it's
canon, but
technically not,
because I never address it.
Yeah, like I read somewhere about the directors being like not commenting on if it's canon or not, or saying that it's not canon actually. I don't think the Marvel Cinematic Universe really acknowledges the TV show universe.
Turns out Monica Maria was the director and built Sword up from the ground, and after her death, she had Maria permanently grounded from all flights. No, only terrestrial missions.
Why? I don't know. Well, no. So she had the plan, right? For if people came back, and her whole thing, her plan was to keep them grounded. I'm
not sure if it's the entire space program or just her. They never really say.
Oh, you're right. They don't say that. Yeah, because when she said that, I thought that was a weird decision. Like, her backup plan if people who got blipped ever came back was to not send them out on anything. I guess it doesn't say if it's indefinitely or for some amount of time, I guess.
Well, no. Hayward says for her it's indefinite.
Oh, yeah, that's a weird choice, but we can keep going. But I'm just gonna say that's a weird choice.
So, like we said, Maria is permanently grounded, and the FBI has requested use of one of Sword's super fancy drones. And Hayward sends Monica, since it was her mother's orders that she is grounded permanently. Cue the driving montage. Cue the driving montage with Monica looking pensively out the window, and we see a sign that says Westview, New Jersey.
She's going. She's doing it. She's going there,
Yep.
guys.
Yep, she drives up to Westview, and the FBI agent that sent the request in is, surprise, the FBI agent from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Jimmy fanboy out, and he finally learned the card trick that Ant-Man refused to teach him. It's such a small payoff, but it's...
I love it. Oh my god, I'm so happy. He was a great character in Ant-Man. He was funny supporting character. And I didn't know it was him when I first saw this.
Really?
I watched this whole episode last time, and I was like, some random FBI guy. Like, it wasn't until I read something after I saw the episode that I was like, oh my god, it's him. But no.
Did you go back online and watch all the scenes from Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Me and my fiance are watching all of the Marvel movies right now in order and stuff. So we'll eventually, we just watched Dark World. Weird stuff with the Reality Stone. I don't know. But anyway.
It's funny you bring up Dark World because that's going to come up later. So, Agent Wu, I'm just going to call him Jimmy from now on.
Jimmy
has a missing persons case who is also in the witness protection program, and Agent Wu contacted all his known associates, but none of them knew who he was even talking about. So that's the first sign that something weird is going on outside of the TV show.
Yeah, definitely weird stuff. Also, the
sheriff's... Right, yeah. It gets even stranger when the two cops claim that Westview doesn't exist when there is a big-ass sign right behind them that says Westview, New Jersey.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on? Also, those they were sheriffs or whatever were kind of dicks. I don't know. They seemed like they were kind of dicks. I don't know.
Well, I mean... if someone comes up to you and asks about a town doesn't exist, you'd be like, what the hell are you talking about?
What are you talking about? What are you smoking? I guess that makes sense. Okay, sure. Okay, I can buy that, actually. I changed my mind. You're right. They were like, what the fuck are these people are on drugs?
Yeah. So Monica gets out the fancy drone, and as it flies into town, it suddenly loses connection and it disappears so the agents can't see it. Monica walks forward, and we start to see what looks like a static barrier, and when Monica touches it, she gets sucked inside.
That was cool. I was like, that's fucking awesome. There's some crazy shit. I mean, we knew there was some crazy shit going on, but that is
right.
What the fuck? Also, what the fuck? Why would she go over there? It's like, I'm gonna touch it. My first instinct, if you want to learn anything and learn something really fast about this possibly dangerous, actually highly likely dangerous thing, I'm gonna touch it first. And
hey, she's a hands-on learner, okay?
Right. I shouldn't give her shit for for her learning style. Her learning style. You're right. Yeah.
But I do like how the barrier looks like TV white noise.
Yes. I thought that was a cool touch. Yeah.
Yeah. It's another one of those small details.
Yeah. A lot of those.
Okay. All right. 24 hours later, we cut to a van with a group of different scientists, and one of them is Darcy Lewis, who we haven't seen since we were forced to endure Thor: The Dark World.
Aww. That's the Dark World note that you had, was that yes. Darcy was in it. Was she not in Ragnarok?
No, she wasn't.
You're right. She was great.
No, she was great in Dark World, but the movie sucks ass.
It was kind of weird.
It was kind of shitty.
Mm-hmm. I know we're not reviewing it right now, but I'll talk about it anyway. I just watched it, and as I was watching it, I was like, there's a lot of coincidences and Deus Ex Machina type shit going on in this movie. I don't know if you watched it recently, but I was like, there's too many coincidences going on in this movie. But yes, if you watch it again, just keep an eye on how many coincidences are in that movie. Yeah.
Or just don't.
or just don't watch it. That's fine.
Yeah.
You can watch the first one and you can watch Ragnarok, and you get the idea. You're fine. Like, the
All
reality
right.
stone exists. You know that.
Yeah. All right. So we're back in the van with Darcy. She's talking with the other people, asking what their specialty is, and she finds out that they all have different specialties, and she deduces that that means they don't know what the fuck is going on. So
She's
they're
great.
just throwing everyone at the wall and seeing if someone sticks.
Automatically a likable character.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even because again, I didn't know who she was. I'm sorry, because it was forever since I saw any
Right.
of the
Yeah.
Thor movies. When I watched this, I was like, I knew that she seemed familiar, but I was like, I don't know where she's from. But I mean, I automatically liked her even before I knew who she actually was. And then when I rewatched the Thor movies, I was like, ah, she's awesome.
Right.
But yeah,
So SWORD has set up a full military camp outside the barrier and are continuously sending drones through the barrier in the background. So we learned that Darcy has gotten her PhD in astrophysics, and when we first meet her, wasn't her degree in like communications or something?
I was gonna bring that up. I'm so glad that you brought that up because like I even took a note on that on my sheet here. I was like, when she in the original Thor, she was an intern, but she wasn't even an
Right.
intern for anything remotely related to physics. And now she's like a doctor in physics. But I mean, honestly, that totally makes sense to me after like all of the shit that she has seen,
Right.
like with everything with the Thor movies and stuff like that. You would be interested too in studying that field if you like had those like really legendary experiences.
Right. Darcy sets up her equipment and is finding a huge amount of CMBR, cosmic microwave background radiation. But there are longer wavelengths hidden within that. She conveniently pulls out some kind of machine and messes with some knobs for like 10 seconds, and she sees a brief glimpse of Wanda from the first episode.
The physioscope, which I don't think is
The,
an act.
the fake science.
Yes, the fake science thing. I'm pretty sure that's not at all real, and that's not how any electronics work. But whatever.
It's a TV show. We're all having fun.
I am all for suspension of belief. Whatever.
I mean, we live in a world where a stone made like a vibranium android. Let's just throw all science out the window.
Vibrating makes total sense. Whatever.
All right. So after she catches a glimpse from that big ass box thing, she asks for an old school tube TV.
Readily available. Yes.
Yeah, because there's clearly a flea market somewhere nearby.
Actually, yeah, that actually is pretty believable. Never mind. I
was
retract
actually being
my
very
statement.
sarcastic right there, but
Yeah, like there's probably a thrift shop in Eastview. Sure, I'll take that. Yeah.
when was the last time you actually saw a tube TV? Because I know for a fact that Goodwill doesn't even take those anymore.
Actually, I was just at a pawn shop the other day. Didn't have tube TVs. It was all flat screens.
Right.
So it's not an easy thing to find. Those shield agents those sword agents have
Right.
resources that we don't know about.
And somehow they all still work. But again,
Right.
I digress. All right, it's now raining outside, and Sword is sending in an agent through the sewers into Westview. Agent Wu and Hayward disagree about sending in the agent unnecessarily.
Oh no, I do have a question about this for you actually. So
Okay.
when I saw this, I immediately knew that I was like, okay, this is the beekeeper guy. Like, it wasn't. I don't know how obvious it was, and so I'm actually curious. Like, when you saw this, did you automatically know that it was the beekeeper guy? Like,
I wasn't 100% sure. It was definitely heavily implied. I'd say I
Yeah.
was like 90% sure that that's the beekeeper.
okay, got it. Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure everybody would find this as heavily implied, but I wanted to
Right.
like ask you anyway. Like, was it that obvious? Because I'm pretty sure it was that obvious. He was the beekeeper.
I'd be willing to stake quite a bit of money on it, but
yeah. Okay, got
I wouldn't bet my life.
it. Okay.
So they're in the command center, and no one has found anything useful. They've done a number of spectral scans across the spectrum: X-ray, gamma ray, microwave, all of them, and none of them found shit. Hayward asks, like, "What the hell?" And naturally, everyone is silent until we hear a laugh.
Ha 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 ha, ha.
Yes, and we see that it's Darcy watching the very first episode. Naturally, everyone is confused and begins to question Darcy, and she responds with her usual snark. The last shot of episode 1, we find out is Darcy, where she's like grabbing her notebook and starting to write things down.
It's always the in these recent movies. It's always the person who's like taking everything the least amount of seriously, like
Right.
that figures out like the big things, right? Like it's always the comic relief nowadays. That's like, oh, and by the way, no big deal or anything, but I figured out this thing. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just sort of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do things my own way.
Yeah, and it's just gonna work out. Like,
Yeah, exactly. They begin to identify the other residents of Westview and ask questions that we ourselves, as the audience, have been asking this entire damn time, such as, why is it hexagonal? Why is it columns? Is Vision actually alive? Because, as Darcy pointed out, he was dead, not
he was
snapped, not blipped, dead.
like for reals, deads for realsies.
Yeah, for real. So, during one of the scenes from episode 2, Darcy sees Monica for the first time and naturally freaks out a bit.
That makes sense.
So,
I trust that reaction, or I believe that reaction.
Yeah, even though she has no idea who Monica actually is because they've never met.
Wait, hold on. I think you're right. Like, wait.
No, yeah, she
has
no
idea who this is.
Well, so the reason, like I feel like the reaction is warranted because Jimmy saw her get sucked in.
Yeah.
And so naturally, the Sword agents want to find their own agents, so they would have put her picture like up on the walls.
Yeah. So it's not known about her. Yeah. So it's not shown, but it's implied that she would know.
She knows who
Monica is. But yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about the fact that why would she know who she looks like? Whatever, I don't know.
Right.
But it makes sense. Continuity.
That was a good reaction, Manny.
I'm not gonna argue it. It's fine. We can keep going. It's great.
Her and Jimmy come up with a plan to try to contact Wanda through the radio. Another agent comes to give them a picture, and it is the drone that Wanda found in episode 2. And they theorize that it has changed its appearance to match the aesthetic of the sitcom.
That's a fair thought.
Right.
No, yeah. Again, when she saw so you saw Jimmy sending out the drone originally, and when they sent out the drone originally, I was like, in the beginning of the episode, I was like, oh, that's the drone that Wanda saw. Immediately, again, I was like, there was no question. But
so yeah, the very first time, or actually the multiple times that I've seen this, I had the same thought. Oh yeah, that was the very first drone they sent in.
Mm-hmm.
But as I also doing this recap and stuff, when Darcy first gets into the camp, you see them sending in a bunch of drones.
Yeah.
So it could very well be the first drone, but I think it's more likely that it's one of the other ones.
One of the many.
Because they all have the Sword logo on them.
Yeah. No, that makes more sense. Yeah, I forgot that they were sending in a bunch of other drones or whatever. So yeah, it could have been any of them. But still, you get the idea. You knew it was a drone.
Right.
This
it
is
was
a drone.
Sword drone.
Yeah, it was a Sword drone. It's obvious. Yeah.
All right, so we're now in the part of episode 2 where Dottie is being a bitch to Wanda, and the thing with the radio happens, and we learn that it's Jimmy's voice. It's being broadcast inside the hex from outside the barrier.
Right. So it wasn't Chris Evans. I'm pretty sure I made that guess in the episode, or I think I mentioned that the other episode, that I thought it was Captain America. It sounded like Captain America to me, but it was just my ears wanting it to be Chris Evans, I guess.
Yeah, I just thought it was a random voice.
Some random dude, yeah. And it turns out it was not a random dude, but kind of a random dude. But yeah. Anyway,
a known acquaintance.
A known acquaintance, yes.
So we hear Jimmy's voice on the radio, and the screen begins to change, and it suddenly jump cuts to after the strange incident, like it has been edited out. And this is being seen on the outside TVs.
Yeah.
Sort of we don't see what actually happened inside.
Yeah. So we didn't get to see what happened before the glass exploded. Right. Wanda looking at the radio really pensively.
Right.
and stuff,
We
and
don't
then
see like Dottie's bloody hand.
right, or the yeah, it just goes to the joke where she talks about getting bloodstains out. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, but we know what happened because we were there.
Cut back to the guy being sent in through the sewers, and he passes through the barrier, and it is the strange beekeeper guy.
And also the rope turns into one of those old school jump ropes that you really hate.
I was gonna bring
Yeah.
that same thing up.
The ones where you used to like pinch your hands on, like when you hold
I
it.
said the ones from like those janky plastic jump ropes from elementary school.
Yep, it was those. I was like, man, there's some hardcore
Throwback.
nostalgia going on here. Call back, yeah.
I wouldn't say nostalgia.
It was like, is
Like
nostalgia
painful
always yeah? Is nostalgia always bad or good memories? I don't know. Yeah, it is always good memories, huh?
Oh, I don't know. I want to look up the definition for that.
Either way, I was like, oh, it's those jump ropes. Gross.
A sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past. So
All
that
right,
was
yeah.
definitely not nostalgia.
It's implied good. It's a bad memory. It's
Okay.
there you go.
All right. So it's a beekeeper guy. As he passes through the barrier, his safety line was cut and turned into one of those janky plastic covered jump ropes from elementary school. He pops out of the sewers and sees Wanda and Vision and her just shaking her head and saying no, and it's fucking terrifying.
Yep. Just like, no, I don't. This is not my fantasy. You're gonna have to leave now. I'm not okay with this.
We don't actually see what happens to this poor guy.
Oh, you're right. It looked like he just went back in though. It looks like it just rewinded. He could just still be in the sewer. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, we see what happened, like what Wanda does to Geraldine. Like, did she just do the same thing to this poor guy?
Oh god, you're right. I didn't even think about that. That guy's probably dead. He's probably dead.
Let's not think about the actual fallout from this show. So Darcy and Ginny are still watching the episodes, and now they're on episode 3. And I just want to throw this out there: if Marvel and Disney wants to do a buddy cop show with the two of them, I am totally down for it.
It's oh my god, you're right. Yeah, they are a great like pair with each other, and that's one of the things that I loved about this episode because I already talked about like the whole side character thing, and like they did a really good job because this is the first episode you've actually seen them, right? I think and they did a really good job making these characters like super likable like from the start of this episode.
Yeah.
Like, and they took a lot of this episode, like, not that we've really talked about it, but a lot of this episode is centered around them, and they get to develop those characters as they are now and stuff. And I think that the writers and like the whole show did a really good job, like, you know, getting you invested in them. And that's why like thoughts like that come out where you're like, a pretty good buddy cop show because you're already invested in these characters.
Right. The chemistry between the two of them just feels so natural, and they're able to play off each other really well.
Oh yeah, it definitely seems that way. So yeah, I agree with you. It'd be cool to see them more together again in the future.
Their chemistry is great, and they both seem genuinely invested in the show.
They're like eating popcorn, like
right. So Monica references Ultron, and the show cuts to the ending title show without showing how Geraldine got home. We cut back inside the actual show, Wanda looking scary AF, and begins to question Geraldine about how she knew about Ultron, and that she is a trespasser and an outsider. So Wanda straight up blasts Monica through the wall of the house, the fence outside, and across the town through the barrier near the camp outside. How is she not dead?
Yeah, okay. There's a lot here. There is a lot to unpack here.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, Wanda is not okay. Like, yeah, this is all her. Like this is all her fault. Like, all this shit is like on her. It seems like she's completely aware of what's going on, and there is a lot of like, there's a lot of not okay in her brain right now. Like that fucking should have killed her. Like. No.
Yeah.
Is she still a superhero? I mean, is she still a hero? Like, is she a bad guy now? Like, I don't even know what's going on, but that was...
Again, yeah, like I said, she's looking scary AF. We don't know what's going on, or we learned, like we said, Geraldine's like, it's Wanda. Like, she's the one doing this. Again, we just don't know, like, how much control she has over her own powers.
Right, yeah, but I don't know. It seems that even at this point, it seems like she's pretty self-aware of what's happening at this point. So that's where I'm like, is she just evil now? Like, I don't know.
Wanda seems visibly shaken about what just happened. Vision walks back inside and asks Wanda where Geraldine went, and Wanda says that she had to rush home. But when she turns around, it is the corpse of Vision we saw at the end of Infinity War. Yeah, nice little jump scare.
I was gonna say that exact same thing. That was definitely a jump scare. I did not. I mean, it was cool. Did not appreciate it. I was scared. I was like, I did have like a little, like, nope. I was like, is she like puppeteering his corpse right now? Because that's not okay.
I mean, that's sort of what is being implied.
That's not okay. Like, why couldn't she just go to therapy like everybody else? I don't.
So it's another important thing to note that this show is set 3 weeks after Avengers Endgame.
Uh-huh. So she got some closure. She killed Thanos. Come on. No, that's
I mean, yeah, I'm still assuming that the world is pretty much in shambles at this point.
Yeah, actually, she probably couldn't get an appointment with the therapist, honestly.
I mean, half or 3.5 billion people are probably asking, like, hey, I need to talk to someone.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's pretty believable now that we're like analyzing this and thinking more about it. Yeah, she couldn't schedule an appointment with the therapist.
As an Avenger, though, I feel like she probably could have gotten priority.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe she just didn't know her resources. We're gonna stop with this joke line. Let's just keep going. We're getting too into the therapy thing.
Vision says that they don't have to stay here and that they can go wherever they want. But Wanda says that this is their home and that they have to stay here and that she has everything under control. And with what we just with what we just saw, it's like,
do you? But like, no.
Yeah, I don't like that you have everything under control.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. You're not okay, honey.
Cut to them sitting down and watching TV with their 2 boys. With their twins, which we didn't even address in this episode. In episode 3 that she had the twins.
Yeah, they have kids, guys. That's fine. It'll be important next episode.
Well, I mean, naturally, when anyone has kids, that's probably going to be a huge shift.
Yeah, they're not going to get away from that. Yeah. There's a dynamic there.
Yeah, like I said, cut to them sitting on their couch, watching TV, holding their newborn babies.
Aw, so sweet. How could you hate her? She's not the bad guy. Everybody else is the bad guy. She's just living her own life, you know?
Yeah, a new mother can't be a bad person.
Right, yeah. This isn't her fault, guys.
I mean,
let Wanda live her life.
Mothers can never do anything bad. Like, Cersei never did anything bad ever.
All right. You're right. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Cersei was the protagonist in that show.
Yeah. And cut to credits. And that is the end of episode 4.
Yay!
Okay, you said you had final thoughts?
Something I really liked about this episode, and I did kind of already say it, was that I liked the side characters. I liked the Jimmy Woo and the Darcy, and I like how they brought them in. I like how they developed them throughout the episode. Like, they gave them that screen time, and, they gave them that chance to, for the audience to connect with them, like, pretty quickly. Like, they did a really good job making them likable, which is what I think I already kind of said. But
it's also kind of cool, like, we haven't seen these characters in a while. Like, Jimmy was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which came out right after Infinity War.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's been, like, a few years since we've seen that character. And who the hell, I don't even remember when Thor the Dark World came out.
I don't know. I should know that because I just saw it, but yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that was the last time we see Darcy.
Yeah.
Overall, yeah, this has been my favorite episode so far.
Same. All right, everybody. So we hope you enjoyed this episode of The Bearded Boys, WandaVision Episode 4. Again, I am Manny.
And I am Brandon.
Yeah, and we are The Bearded Boys. Goodbye.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Give us a share.
Yeah. All right, bye.
Bye.